Okay, so now we're gonna move over to the NBA. Fresh and hot off the press, Caesars Sportsbooks have just dropped their predictions on win totals for all 30 teams. As I can see it now, we have 6 teams that projected to win 50 or more games. We have 13 teams projected to win 40 or more games. We have 5 teams projected to win 30 or more games, and then we got 6 projected to win 20 or more games. So at the bottom of the heat, we got our favorites, the Magics and the Thunder. But at the top of the heat, we got the Nets, Bucks, and Lakers. So with that said, Jay, when you go through all 30 teams, which ones would you flat out disagree with, and which ones do you agree with, and which team do you see vastly underrated, and which team do you see vastly overrated?
All right. Well, I would say I think I actually like the top five. I think the top five is pretty good. I do agree. I think Brooklyn, especially with the big three that they have, and the fact that they got an off season to kind of get together, and normally that first season when you just throw that many stars together, it kind of doesn't mesh all the way. So I think they'll be good. I think James Harden, he'll be in shape from the start, and that'll result in them winning a whole lot of games. Um, I'm a little surprised. Some of these totals seem just a little bit low, but then you go back and you read some of the thought process behind it, and I think the kind of this age of load management and just all the injuries that we've seen they're gonna kind of deflate some of the big win totals that we've seen in years past. So I think Brooklyn. If I had to pick a team that could make a run at 60 wins, I think Brooklyn would have a chance, and maybe Milwaukee. I think they're the two teams to look at for that. The Lakers, I think they're going to struggle a little bit early, but I think they'll have a big second half. They should eclipse 50 wins fairly easily. It says a little bit about Utah that they got. It's just one game that they got them above the defending Western Conference champions. But I would tend to agree. I think Utah's the better team. I think they don't really, their most important player isn't an aging star who we just look at Chris Paul and wonder, like, how many more seasons can you play at this level and be the difference maker for your team. Utah's got the budding superstar in Donovan Mitchell, so I think that'll be a big advantage for them. If I would maybe look, if I'm looking at these win totals, I know they got the Lakers, Jazz, and Sixers tied at 51 and a half. I'd probably bump Philly up just a bit and have the top three be in all Eastern Conference. I think the Eastern Conference is going to continue to be just a little bit top heavy. I know their depth is more impressive than it has been recently, but I'd put those three teams up above anything the West can give you, even though I do like the West depth a little bit more. I think, but if I had to go on the other side, okay, then let's stay with what I agree with. Yeah, they got the bottom. They got the bottom of the barrel about right too. I'm a little, if I'm Jamal Mosley down there in Orlando, I'm waking up and looking at this and saying, "Wow,
We're not the worst team.
we didn't get last." And oh man, so I don't know what that says about OKC and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I don't even know what else they even have in there. And maybe that's something. Maybe that's the team we should have been looking at. I bet they miss Billy Donovan, but yeah. Cleveland, Houston, Detroit. I don't see much at all to be excited about with those teams. I'm gonna tell you another thing. Like, if San Antonio can't win 30 games, it might be time, Pop.
Yeah,
Might be time, Coach Pop. Like,
I agree.
can't win 30 games. You might have to go ahead and wrap it up. That's just not going to be much. As far as things I disagree with, I'm looking at the Clippers. That's low, man. 13th at 44 and a half. That seems to be awful low.
Now my question is, do you think that's low, knowing that Kawhi Leonard is not going to start the season? I don't think he's going to play until like probably around the All-Star break.
Oh, I didn't even know that. So that makes more sense.
Yeah.
On the flip side, the Timberwolves at 33 and a half seems a little bit high. Please don't tell me and inform me that this is the Patrick Beverly effect. If you get what I'm saying. The Clippers are bumped down because Patrick Beverly left. Minnesota's going to win. They will not win because of the leadership and veteran savvy of one Patrick Beverly.
Nah, I don't think his departure of the Clippers has anything to do with their numbers. I think that's solely on Kawhi Leonard. But I don't know. That's just I don't think that he impacts the numbers of the Timberwolves. But boy, would I get a good laugh if he did.
I think a couple other things I look at. I'm looking at. I think Golden State and Dallas. Excuse me, Golden State and Denver. Denver, I'd bump up and I'd have them right at the 50-win mark. I think Golden State is about right, but I think there's a lot of reason to be bullish on Golden State because Klay Thompson's coming back, but it's just an unknown. Like how good can they be because we ain't seen it in several years now. I think Atlanta and Boston being tied is kind of head scratching to me because I'm just not very impressed with what Boston's got going on right now. So I think Atlanta's clearly in a better spot than Boston, including in the coaching ranks, I might add, with Nate McMillan. And Boston got a first-year head coach. I also think the Knicks and the Bulls being tied is somewhat of a head scratcher. The Knicks are coming. I mean, that's a real team. They play real defense. They got a real coach. They made some backcourt upgrades with Kemba Walker. They got Fournier and come off the bench and do some things for you. Julius Randle with the big contract. I think the Knicks are a little low. I think it's and I think to have them tied with the Bulls have done a lot of things, but I'm just unsure of how it fits. You know,
they've done a lot of things other than win games.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, they made a lot of headlines for all these acquisitions, and we're gonna do the Nikola Vucevic and Daniel Tice thing, and I don't know. And the other thing, how about this one? We always talk about these two teams and how they're linked because of the draft from a couple years ago. The Grizzlies and Pelicans being one game apart. As of right now, I'm unsure. I think Memphis is gonna show us once again that they're better, unless of course New Orleans they'll have every opportunity to prove me wrong. But I'm not seeing it as of now. I'm also a little bit surprised that the Hornets, with how well they played last year, I mean they're that far below the 500 mark. I think Toronto, that's a little bit high after losing Kyle Lowry, so I don't know how good they can be. I don't know if they can win 36 games. You know, as of everybody, there ain't a whole lot else that stands out to me. I think Dallas being where they are, I might even put Dallas a few games lower than that. I mean, you know how much I like Luka Doncic, but did they really get a whole lot better? I'm not sure. I mean, I like that they brought Tim Hardaway back. But the biggest thing for them is they got to figure out how to get Porzingis and Luka Doncic playing at a high level altogether. So I guess in the end, what I would say, the top and bottom, I look at them as being absolutely right. In the middle, I'm a little, I guess that's where I have more of the issue with.
Well, let me tell you something. Let's go with what they got right, what I feel correct. Teams 22 through 30, correct. I don't even care what order you put them in. Them just the teams we don't care about. Like let's keep it real. 22 through 30. Listen, back them up. I'm gonna give the Raptors a little bit of a little respect just because they had a bad season, but they usually are in the mix. Those other teams not so much. And then, like you said, the top, I agree with the top five. Hey man, I'm gonna tell you right now, I think the Suns on fraud alert. I think this season is gonna be a lot tougher for them. Cause here's the thing, when you catch someone by surprise, which the Suns did, and I think in the playoffs they caught a lot of teams by surprise. In the regular season, it was the second best team that caught people by surprise, and then we said, hey, we want to see them do it in the postseason. They got in the postseason, did their thing, they caught people by surprise. They no longer will catch teams by surprise. So when the Suns go against the likes of the Lakers, the Jazz, the Sixers, the Warriors, the Nuggets, etc., don't let that get too far ahead of you. When they go against those teams, we're going to see what the Suns are made of. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you wasn't paying attention last year, the Suns, Devin Booker was a one-trick pony. And now I think teams know that, and they're gonna attack the fact that he was a one-trick pony. If he can't make baskets, let's make him do something else. I think that could be a detrimental to the Suns this year. With that said, I do agree with you. I think the Nets could be a 60-win team. The Bucks could be a 60-win team. I think the Jazz can be a 60-win team. Here's why. I agree with you. If you want to go up that premise, yes, I will jump the Jazz over the Lakers just because I know the Jazz will take the regular season more serious than the Lakers will. The Jazz, like, they're okay with the whole we want to, be the regular season champs and then get to the playoffs and you know what happens, let's say we run out of gas, should have got a Tesla. But with that said, I that's why I would give the Jazz a 60-win team, because they will play hard and they'll be coming back super healthy. I think the whole Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell thing we thought was going to happen seemed to work itself out. They seem to be playing good ball. Mike Conley doing his thing. So I think Utah will be another team that's at the top of the heat once again for the West, just because that. And then the Lakers, like you said, they're going to go through growing pains. The oldest team in the NBA by far. So it's going to take them a while. They got to warm up the muscles, put on the Bengay and the icy hot. They got to come out here, do what they got to do. Acupuncture, cryotherapy, you name it, they're going to have to do it all. Get themselves in the mix. But once they get warmed up, once that engine get warmed up, hey, you know what time it is. It's coming. So I agree with that. The Sixers, listen, and I think the reason I would not put the Sixers as a 3 team, a top 3 team, and a possible 60-win team is this. I think it's still turmoil going on now. Ben Simmons, you still got question mark. What do you do with Ben Simmons? I know what I get out of Joel Embiid. Not to mention, hey, no Danny Green, so you lost that veteran leadership. So you're going to be depending on somebody younger. Did you get enough in the offseason to offset if Ben Simmons is not happy and he do sit out and he don't want to play for the Sixers this year and, whatnot? Do you have enough on that team to supplement him? I don't know. That's why I would have to see the Sixers play first, because there was a lot going on. So with that, the Warriors, like you said, I agree with you. That's a little risky for the biscuit for me. We don't know what we're going to get out of Klay Thompson. You're going to tell me this team is good enough to just off face value of Steph, Draymond, Wiggins, et cetera, will they be good enough? I don't know. We're going to have to see. The Clippers thing, I like you said, I would have said it was disrespectful if I didn't know the fact that Kawhi Leonard is going to probably be out until All-Star break. So I'll probably keep that there until I see how Paul George, can he lead this team to being a championship level team without Kawhi. That remains to be seen. So I see that. Now I'm going to tell you right now, this number 15, the Indiana Pacers, 42.5. I don't know, man. I think that might be a little bit over. And the reason I say that is because I don't know if Rick Carlisle gonna make an instant impact when he get there. If you tell me that means when he get there, Brogdon and Turner and LeVert and those guys just gonna come out the box smoking. And I don't know. I don't know if I feel that way about the Pacers right now. I'm gonna have to see them get into it. You already hit the Knicks and Bulls, so I'm not gonna run over that. Long story short, to wrap all this up, right? What I've seen throughout these whole Caesars Sportsbooks is injuries is playing a big part now. I think injuries is playing a big part in predictions way more than it did 2-3 years ago before COVID. Now, Vegas, the money, is starting to notice that these guys don't get too trained like they once did. Whether it's because of the protocol, whether it's because I can't trust the guy next door, whether it's because I don't feel like answering 32 questions about my medical history, whatever the case might be. They don't get to train like they once did and now you're seeing that body's paying the price for it. So with that said, it seems to me that Caesars Sportsbook said the same thing. A lot of these teams should be rated higher, but we don't know, just like you said, with load management and the fact that they really are getting hurt at a high clip, we don't know if we want to put our eggs in that basket. So that's why I think the numbers are low. That is what I'm comprehending from these low numbers. So we'll have to see. Hopefully the injuries go back down now that we playing a full 82 game season again and playing on the regular timeline again. So hopefully the injuries go back down and we don't, every star in the NBA don't get hurt. But that's what I see in the overall picture.